What's up, guys? And this is going to be number 3 of the torture trials. Okay, first one we did was Corona Extra. Then the second one we did was the Tecate Chelada Diablo garbage. And this one is going to be the very first 40 of many that fall in the torture trials. I put it off. I figured I might as well just get a 40 video in, because somebody's bound to ask for it eventually. Why I haven't done a 40 when we're talking about terrible beers. So we have a 40. And surprisingly, it's not in a glass bottle. But today we have Mickey's 40 ounce in the new shatterproof bottle. Okay, not too excited about it because Mickey's is not one of my favorites. It's not the worst, but it's not one of my favorites. So let's get down to it. First, let's talk about this. This is fine malt liquor. Now, it's called malt liquor in Texas because any beer that is over the average ABV, I don't know if it's 4.5, 4.7, or 5, has to be called something other than beer. Okay, so like Guinness Extra Stout on the bottle, it does not say beer. It just says Extra Stout. Or, you know, these other beers that are higher in ABV, they'll say ale, or lager, or malt liquor, okay, or malt beverage, okay. That's just, it's a weird law in Texas. That's what they have to, that's what they have to do. Now, these plastic 40s came around probably about, I first saw one about last year sometime, right about this time last year. So I don't know what the new fad is, but usually the nostalgia of drinking out of a 40 is a glass bottle that you hold right up by the top and just, bang it back. That's part of drinking a 40. That's the tradition of drinking a 40. So I don't know the ABV on this one. It doesn't tell me. It just says it's 1 quart 8 ounces, Mickey's Brewing Company in Milwaukee. Oh, it does. Sorry. It is 5.6% ABV, and it's got 3.3 servings in it, and 157 calories per serving. Thanks, Mickey's. Y'all been awfully gracious with the information. So, let's get down to it. Now, you can see this is in the green bottle. I had my favorite 40, which is Old English 800, in a clear plastic bottle last year, and it was garbage. Oh, it sucked, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this. Now, this is the Mickey's Big Mouth top. Most 40s have a small cap with a really drastically tapered neck down to a fat belly. Okay, but Mickey's has been known, except for in some of the 40s, for having that wide mouth. They make a wide mouth grenade, which is, they call them grenades. They're about that big, and they got this big old wide mouth on them. They call them grenades. And you can get them in a 12 pack, I think. 12 or 6, one of the two. You can get me in the comment section if I'm wrong. So, why I decided to choose this glass, I don't know. But we're going to use my Sam Smith's pub glass to pour this 40 into. Now, for those of you who have never drank a 40, most 40s are either corn or rice adjunct lagers that have been brewed to have a really high alcohol concentration. Now, 40s got in trouble in the late 80s, early 90s because they were being pitched towards homeless people, and so they kind of had to clean their act up a little bit. Some 40s are ice beers. This one is not. If I remember correctly, this one's corn. I can smell it right now. Whew. Yeah, it's corn. And the malts and everything are cheap, so that's what you're getting into with a 40, but let's get down to it. There we go. Okay. Look at that little tornado that's going on in there from my little glass. That's so cool. It's got that embossed edge and it's making a tornado in there. That's awesome. I've never seen that happen out of any beer. Now I know to drink my 40s in this glass if I want to show. That glass is giving me nice thick head, which I don't really want in a beer like this. Of course, up to the light, crystal clear, looks like fizzy apple juice. Let's get a smell on it. Or get head in our nose. First things first, like I said with the Corona, most corn adjunct lagers smell like vegetables. And that's what this smells like. It smells like frozen vegetables that have been cooked. Like particularly frozen corn. I don't really get alcohol in it, in the smell. And I'm not really getting much else. It's just corn. Okay, you get a little bit of alcohol, a little bit. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. So, and by the way, this thing did come out of the freezer because you want to drink these frosty as fuck. So, let's get down to it. Okay. Wow. That's not as bad as I remember it being. Okay. Let's talk about this for a second because it's not as offensive as I remember. Okay. First thing, right up front, you get that corn, green bean, mixed vegetable, back from high school, steamed, terrible garbage. Then that kind of tapers off. You do get a little bit of a crispness up front and a bite from, I'm assuming, the carbonation, because I can't sense anything else in this. No hops really to speak of. You can get a little bit of maltiness, but it's cheap malt. Very, very cheap. It's the body on it is medium. It's pretty heavy for a 40. Like, I'm thinking King Cobra territory. Then the alcohol hits you. And it's not even an alcohol burn because the alcohol isn't that high. It's just brewed with such cheap diluted ingredients that you can taste the alcohol sweetness very distinctly. Okay? Then you get that corny aftertaste that comes right along with Bud Light, Miller Lite, any of these adjunct lagers. The only problem is this has more alcohol in it. So if you take a Bud Light is probably what I can describe it closest to, and add the ABV of almost Bud Light Platinum, yeah, it's pretty damn close to Bud Light Platinum, honestly. To be completely honest, it's pretty damn close. But overall, I've had some bad 40s, and this one's not bad. It's not really skunked because of the green bottle. And I've never seen a 40 lace a glass like that. Holy mackerel. I've seen more expensive beers not lace this glass that well. I don't know what the hell's going on. I think it's the little agitator down there helping us out a little bit, but man, it's really lacing that glass. Now when you get into it, you can get some more smell. And you get the corniness way up front. It's there. And the thing that it turns me off about 40s, especially drinking them out of the bottle, is you have a weird effect in a bottle. Since a bottle has a tapered neck, especially 40s that have a small opening, they're gonna let me get a bottle. Like these Corona bottles are the worst about it. Okay, you see how you have a tapered neck, right? What happens is the gas that is produced from the beer comes up this tapered neck and can't really escape because it's so tapered. You know, it just kind of lingers there. So whenever you tip it up and, you know, agitate it, the gas does escape and you get a pow gas smell. But it's even worse when you go to take a sip because that gas is going to rush into your mouth and change the flavor of the beer. So with 40s, you have a drastically tapered neck down to a really itty bitty teeny tiny cap like this, but they're tapered like that, dude. They're freaking crazy tapered. So they can hold a lot of gas, and as soon as you take a taste, oh, that gas is right in your mouth, and it's not good. I think this, I actually did this beer a favor in putting it in a glass, allowing those, you know, gases to escape, especially when I tilt it back to take a sip, because it's got room to move. It can actually get out of the way of the drink so I can taste the actual beer. And I think that's probably why this doesn't taste as bad in the glass as it does drinking it out of the bottle. And it's smooth. It doesn't, I mean, with the amount of carbonation that's there, it doesn't really make it hard to drink. And it's not offensive enough that I don't want to go back and take a sip. Now, if this warms up, which is probably going to, which is why I want to get through this glass pretty quickly, and put the bottle with its resealable cap back in the fridge so that I can drink on it later. Which I think, you know, the glasses had resealable caps. Why, I don't know, but I mean, I'm not one who likes to sit in one sitting and drink a 40. That's just me. I used to do it back when I was broke, but it doesn't appeal to me anymore. It didn't appeal to me back then, but I was broke. And one of these videos we'll do a little trick that I learned with a 40. We'll teach you a little something, and it'll be another torture trial. But let's get down to business with this one. It's bad, but it's not as bad as I remember. Okay, when I bought this, I was like, man, I can rip on this, rip on it. But it's redundant, okay, because it falls in the category of all other adjunct lagers. But I didn't expect it to be this decent, I'll put it that way, because there's nothing good about it, but I didn't expect it to be this decent. So for the Terror Trials rating, I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8 out of 10, because, you know, drinking it out of the glass, shit, if I had nothing better to drink and I wanted to feel classy, sure, I'd pour my 40 into a fancy beer glass, and at least it amplifies the flavor a little bit so that it's not as terrible as it would be in a 40 bottle. And for the value, I mean, you get a lot of alcohol for not very much money. That one was like $1.98 at Party Stop. So, yeah, you can't beat that, I guess, for what it is, because it's pretty high in ABV. I have, just on this shelf, I have probably, that I can remember, I have probably, well, let's see, that's 10, that's 10, that's 10, that's 9, that's 7, so yeah, I easily have probably 20 times the amount of alcohol just in the stout shelf than what you can get in this bottle, but hey, for $2, I guess you can't beat it. So yeah, that's my review of Mickey's 40 ounce in the Torture Trials. Gave it an 8 out of 10. We'll see you in the next Torture Trial video. I don't know what it's going to be. It's whatever I decide to rip out of the cooler. So, thanks for watching. Enjoy a 40 every once in a while to keep yourself humble and remember what you used to drink and take you back to your roots. We'll see you in the next one. Adios.